welcome back to Cruising as Crew. My name is Lucy and today we are going to be talking about money. So how to best look after your money, how to transfer money home to your family if you are supporting them, debit cards, prepaid cards, cash. We're going to be talking about all the money tips because I don't actually think I've made a video about this, which actually blows my mind because I'm nearly at my 400th video and I feel like I've covered most things. So you would have thought I'd have spoken about money, but nevertheless, let's get into it. So when you work on a cruise ship, there are two ways that you can get paid. You can either be paid in cash or you can be paid into your bank account. Now, obviously, we're pretty much in a cashless society, so it's very unlikely that you will get paid cash. However, I do know some people who still get paid in cash. So if you get paid in cash, you have a few options. You can either keep it in your cabin or you can keep it in crew office. Then you can either choose to send it home regularly or you can store it all up and take it all home with you when you fly home. So we're going to go through each of these options and like the pros and cons. So keeping it in your cabin, obviously the benefit is you have access to it at all times. However, I wouldn't recommend this because especially if you're sharing a cabin. I mean, your cabin mate could be the most trustworthy person in the world, but there's a lot of people who have access to your cabin on a cruise ship, housekeeping, security, and while on paper they're not allowed to just come into your cabin for no good reason, people do all kinds of crazy shit. And the last thing you want is to go to your cabin and realise all the money that you have been storing under your mattress has gone. So I wouldn't recommend keeping it in your cabin, although you would honestly be surprised how many people do. Instead, I would keep it in crew office. So when it's payday, your manager will hand you the cash, hand you your wages in cash if this is how you're getting paid. Then I would simply go down to crew office when it is next open, hand over the cash, and they will store it for you in a vault. Now, the downside to this is it's a little bit annoying that you have to go to crew office every time you want some of your wages. However, it's safe, it's in a vault, no one can get to it, whereas if it's just in your mattress in your cabin, yeah, it's not great. So I would definitely recommend storing your cash in crew office if you're going to get paid in cash. You also have another decision to make. How are you going to get it home? Are you going to transfer it regularly or are you going to take it all home at the end of your contract? Now, sending it home regularly, the downside is that there are going to be fees attached to it because the best service for sending cash to another country or wherever is Western Union. But as I'm sure a lot of you know, Western Union do have charges. The other option is you can store it all up in crew office and then send a lump sum home, and then the charges will be slightly less than if you do it like every month. Now this is up to you. It depends if you have people at home that need that money. That's just a decision that you are going to have to make. Of course, you could just not send anything home and take it all home when you go in your case. However, I would urge against this. Again, because we're in a cashless society, anyone going through an airport with a bag of cash is going to be very suspicious. So I would definitely use Western Union. If you can, just do it maybe every 3 months. So store your cash in the crew office for 3 months and then, you know, do a Western Union. Because it is a pain to have to go to Western Union every month. But also, you know, to go to Western Union, you have to walk through town with thousands of pounds. But anyway, if I was paid in cash, that is what I would do. I would store it in crew office and I would send it home via Western Union. Now, of course, the other way that you can be paid is on card into a bank account, which, yes, is the more likely scenario. Now, every cruise line and company has a different bank account that they use. So some use My Crew Wallet, Ocean Pay, Brightwell. There's a lot of them. But one thing that these all have in common is they are crap. They are really difficult to use. If you read the terms and conditions, they're not great. So my advice would be get your money out of these bank accounts as soon as you possibly can. On most of these cards, there are like surcharges. So if I go out and I buy a coffee in town with my card, later on I'm going to get like an 80 cents surcharge, but that's for every transaction. So like you'll get charged 80 cents no matter if you bought a $3 coffee or a $30 lunch. You'll get charged 80 cents. And of course at first you're like, oh, you know, it's 80 cents. but on every single transaction, that adds up. And also they've made it really difficult to like transfer your money. Obviously they can't stop you transferring your money out, that's illegal, but they've made it difficult. So you want to spend as little time as possible on their interface, because it is the most frustrating thing ever. Whether it's OceanPay, Brightwell or my Crew wallet, they're just shit. I have opened a TransferWise account, and it took me ages, but I set up a direct debit from my Brightwell account to TransferWise. So as soon as the money went into Brightwell from Harding, it went out again to TransferWise. So instead of getting paid on like the 7th of the month, I got paid on the 14th of the month when it landed in my TransferWise. But once the money is in your TransferWise account, you have access to it. It's really easy to transfer and to do anything you want with. And also it's free transactions. You can withdraw money. You don't get awful surcharges. So I would definitely set up like an international bank account like TransferWise before you go on the ship, and as soon as you get given your like card and your bank account that you're going to get paid into by the cruise line or your company, set up a direct debit to the TransferWise account. Just get your money out of that cruise ship account as soon as possible, because also if you read like the terms and conditions, they're like not liable for your money at all. So if someone steals your like Brightwell or OceanPay card and goes on a shopping spree, they're not going to do anything to help you. A lot of other banks offer support if you get a stolen card or anything like that. So move your money. Now in this video I am just like skimming over the surface of the money tips, but I have gone into a lot more detail into money tips and everything on my Money Talk career guide that is on my website. So if you go over there, take a look at it. It's only £5, and trust me, the tips in that career guide is going to save you hundreds. So it's £5 well spent. So as well as making a TransferWise account, you could also make a Monzo account, a Starling account, a Revolut account. These are all prepaid cards. Now, of course, instead of getting your money sent to your TransferWise account, you could just get it sent to one of these prepaid accounts. But what I like to do is get my money sent to my TransferWise account, and then I have a Starling and a Revolut card. So I find it easier to save if everything's in different accounts, because you know, it's just too easy to tap that card. So once the money is in my TransferWise account, I will put a certain amount on my Starling account and a certain amount on my Revolut account. So my Revolut card is what I use to like go out in port and, you know, buy whatever I want. And I'll put like maybe $300, $400 on that. And that's what I have for the month. That is what I allow myself. So obviously this is great if you want to save your money. But the other good thing about doing this is, let's say I go out into port and I lose my Revolut card or it gets stolen. It's fine, because all I need to do, this is not an ad by the way, I just really like Revolut, Starling and TransferWise, and move all of my money out of my Revolut back onto TransferWise or Starling. So the point is, if someone has stolen my Revolut card and they're hoping to go on a shopping spree, well, they're not going to be able to, because I can simply control everything from my app. So yes, they have my card, but they effectively have an empty card that is useless. The reason I don't use my TransferWise card and my debit card, yes, for saving money, but also if that card gets stolen, it's almost impossible to get a card sent to a cruise ship. It depends on the itinerary. Like if you are doing the Caribbean for 9 months and your embarkation day port is Miami, then fine. You order it to Miami, you're going to be there for months. But if you're doing a transatlantic, so like on Valiant, we spent half the year in the Caribbean or half the year in Europe. So let's say you've lost your card and you know that in 6 weeks you are going to go over to Europe. It's really difficult, because you're like, well, if I order my new card to come to Miami but it doesn't come for 8 weeks, I'm going to be in Europe. But if I order my card for Europe and it comes in like 2 weeks, is it going to get lost because I'm not going to pick it up? So it's really, really difficult to get a new debit card sent to the ship. Basically, you want to lower your risk of losing it, and the best way is by having a few prepaid cards, so that that's what you use and you actually never need to take your debit card out of your wallet. And half the time I don't even take it out in port with me. I just take my prepaid card. Those are just some of my money tips that you can use during your first contract. I really hope you find them helpful. But as I said, if you want to know more money tips, or you just want to know more about your cruising career in general, then make sure you go over to my website cruisingascrew.com and have a look at my career guides, because all the information that you could ever want is in there. But yeah, I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, whatever you decide to do. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.